that hate speech in this sort of form be nipped in the bud. So I think the SCA has a great opportunity to put to bed a contentious issue, something that has been stoking the fires of racial hatred for years.
As we record today on the 4th of September, AfriForum is headed to the Supreme Court of Appeal around the hate speech case that has now evolved and taken shape over a few years. Joining me to unpack the issue, to discuss the possible outcomes, the possible findings, is Stuart Hayward. Stuart has been on the CRA's channel before. We're very happy to have him back. Stuart is an advocate at the Joburg Bar. Stuart, thanks very much for your time with us on the CRA this week. Just to start off with a bit of an overview or a quick synopsis, if you can, of where we find ourselves at the moment as AfriForum now heads to the Supreme Court of Appeal in Bloemfontein.
Good morning, Chris, and thank you for the opportunity. So the context that we find ourselves in today is that on the 25th of August 2022, a judgment was handed down by the High Court sitting as the Equality Court, which dismissed AfriForum's application to have certain songs deemed to be hate speech, as well as an application to interdict the EFF from singing these songs in the future. The party cited were Julius Malema, as well as some of his counterparts at the EFF. Now, that decision to dismiss the application to deem these songs hate speech is being heard today, is being heard today by the Supreme Court of Appeal. So today being the 4th of September 2022. Chiefly what AfriForum is trying to achieve in the appeal is to overturn the High Court judgment which dismissed the application. Now, Chris, I think a lot of your viewers would be aware of the Kill the Boer song, which Julius Malema has sung on numerous occasions.
Lions, shoot to kill. Hamaza, kill the poor, the farmer, kill the poor, the farmer.
Now, what this appeal attempts to do is to prevent the EFF's members from singing the song in future and deeming the song to be hate speech. Now, the August 2022 judgment by Judge Moletleli in the High Court is, in my view, problematic, and I think that AfriForum's chances of success and appeal are pretty high, because I think that Judge Moletleli made an error in law. I think that he interpreted Section 10(1) of the Equality Act incorrectly. Now, just on a sort of a general level, Section 10(1) of the Equality Act requires that there be a propensity to incite hatred or harm from the speech in order for it to be classified as hate speech. Now, what Judge Moletleli did, erroneously in my view, is to look for evidence that the songs had in fact caused hatred or harm. Now, this is chiefly because the AfriForum led evidence in an attempt to try and connect the utterances with certain farm murders. Okay, but the decision the test was just incorrectly applied by Judge Moletleli. And if you look at the senior counsel that's been appointed by AfriForum, Jeremy Gauntlet, SCKC, who is, in my opinion, in the top 3 silks that South Africa has ever produced, being a King's Counsel in England, and you look at the EFF's counsel, which is the junior counsel that argued the matter in 2022. It kind of gives you an idea as to the fact that the EFF probably has accepted the fact that this decision will be overturned. They haven't employed the big guns. So that kind of gives you an idea as to the fact that the EFF probably doesn't think their chances are too good, and AfriForum have invested clearly very high fees to succeed. So in my view, Chris, the appeal should succeed, and I think that I think this is it's very important that hate speech in this sort of form be nipped in the bud. So I think the SCA has a great opportunity to put to bed a contentious issue, something that has been stoking the fires of racial hatred for years. Julius Malema has always he hasn't even lived on the edge. I mean, he's been so blatantly, in my view, racist and intentionally showing hatred towards white people in general, that I think it's very important that the SCA lays down a marker.
Stuart, just a sort of another question, maybe to unthread some of the very intricate threads, as it were, in this particular case. In an article last year on Business Day, you unpacked some of the issues here. We will link to that article in the description below for those who are interested. Was there anything from that article that you wanted to sort of highlight, just as a sort of parting thought that would help people understand a bit more, maybe the thrust of AfriForum's arguments?
So, Chris, that article that I penned in February 2022, it just kind of, I wrote that article to try and explain what had happened in the trial, because there was a lot of, quite frankly, bad reporting on the trial, because Julius Malema, being as bombastic as he was, calling Mark Oppenheimer a bad lawyer, a lot of the people thought that the EFF had not only won the matter, but that they'd succeeded in the courts of public opinion. Now, in my view, that was just incorrect, chiefly because I thought that AfriForum had done enough to prove hate speech and be successful with the interdicts. And I think the SCA will vindicate my opinion, but also because I think the EFF just proved that itself to be totally unsuitable for power because of Malema's blatant failure to refute and the concept of the slaughtering of white people, because we know in 2018 that he basically threatened to slaughter white people, saying that he's not calling for white genocide yet.
I'm saying to you, we have not called for the killing of white people, at least for now.
So the article is perhaps a very good way for your viewers to understand the concepts, and then they can perhaps better absorb the SCA's decision.
Thank you very much for watching. A reminder, please, before you leave, to like this video. We also invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you have not yet done so. Until next time, this has been Chris Hattingh for the Center for Risk Analysis. Take care.